For as long as he can remember, this Mangalore based youngster has been inclined to science and innovation. He recalls that as a child, when his parents or relatives gifted him toys, he did not find much joy in just playing with them. Instead, his curiosity lay in breaking them open, looking at how bolts, nuts, and metallic elements worked in perfect synchronization, modifying them, and trying to fix them back together. He received award for developing an eco-friendly and low-cost material from LDPE waste plastics and blast furnace slag, a material that is 24 times stronger, 12 times cheaper, and 8 times lighter than concrete. The youngster, who completed his class 12 from Vivekananda Pre-University College, was conferred the prestigious National Award for Exceptional Achievement for his excellence in the field of innovation by President Ramnath Kovind on the occasion of Children's Day 2017 in New Delhi. Kindly welcome the young talented man who likes to be described as an innovator by heart and entrepreneur by mind, Mr. Swastik Padma.
Hello everyone, I'm Swastik Padma, and it's my pleasure to be here in my mic, a box full of untold stories. So let's unbox it. So let's see what's the story, and So thank you for having me here. So currently I'm pursuing my second year engineering in electronics and communication from Vivekananda College of Engineering and Technology. And I have worked in, as explained, I have worked in plastic waste management, protein energy malnutrition, oral cancer diagnosis, seawater desalination, soil health monitoring device, etc. in the past 8 years. So as they said, I started as a kid who loved to break toys and reassemble it. I guess all of you and all of us have done this in the young age when we were kids. So we used to destroy or disassemble the toys and construct, like play with it. But like according to me, 90% of us have done that. And out of 50%, like out of that 90%, 50% of us may have tried to reassemble it, and maybe 30 to 40% have been like failed in reassembling it. So I was one of that 30 to 40% of the kids who just disassemble and not being able to put that things back. So at that time I used to take out all the components and make something else out of it and do something with my imagination and used to play with that. And I guess that's where when the innovator inside me born. So that's how I started. And when I was in 6th standard, I started doing real world projects. So basically I'm from Puttur. I'm from an agriculture based family. So I believe the most important thing for doing any innovation or project is problem. So, or an idea. To get an idea, you should have some problem or you should have some motive to solve some particular problem. So in agriculture, you may know, like we have a lot of problems. So I, like being from an agriculture based family, we had a small farm, and there was a stream flowing right next to the farm. So, but the problem was because of interrupted power supply, you can't continuously water the plants. So I came up with an idea to automatically like pump the water from the stream to the farm without using any external energy, just by using the flow of the water. So that was my first project. And later, when I was in 7th and 8th, I saw my seniors doing similar kind of projects in the school, and I inquired, and I got to know about the science exhibitions, projects, and other events. So then I started participating in those events, making projects. I was working in energy related systems, converting thermal energy into direct electrical energy, then fuel-less boats using power of sea waves, and many other projects. Then when I was in 9th, so I'm very happy to be here in Bangalore, because like when I was in 9th, I was in Bangalore. So at that time, from a small city, Puttur, you will have a lot of expectation. Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India, Silicon City of India, high-rise buildings, and you will see a lot of, things that you have only watched in a movie. So that was kind of the scenario. And I was here, and the ground reality was totally different. You could see just plastic waste or any waste lying across the roads and along the roads and everywhere. So I was like, really, okay, and this is the reality. And then I was like thinking what to do with the plastic. So what can be done with the plastic, or can I do something out of plastic? So I got to know that plastic waste is a very big problem, and if I do something out of plastic, that will be good. So my initial idea was very simple. Instead of just letting the plastics or plastic waste or any waste lying on the roads, why can't you compress, or why can't you do something material out of the plastic and use it for pavement or for the roads? So that was the initial idea. And as soon as I got back home, I immediately started experimenting. So at that time, I had zero knowledge about plastic. I knew only two things. If you heat plastic, it will melt. If you cool plastic, it will get hard again. So that was the only two things I knew about plastics. So after getting back home, I immediately started experimenting. I took a metal pan. I took some plastic bottles. My hypothesis was, you put the plastic to the pan, it will melt, and you remove the semi-solid mass and you cool, you will get a brick. But in the first experiment, the result was astonishing. The material I developed, it was very similar to puppad. So you crack it, it will be powder. So that was the first output of the first experiment. And I tried to figure out what went wrong in the experimentation. Although I figured it out after an year. So again, I started to think about the second experiment. What will I do now? So one of the, my idea was, if you control the temperature, you'll get a better material. So next time I did it in a more controlled manner. This time while repeating the same experiment, I had few plastic bags. So I was curious. I didn't knew the difference between plastic bags or plastic bottles. What are those? Unless you are a polymer expert or you are studying engineering, you won't know the difference between plastic bottle and plastic bag. Everything is plastic for you. So I was also like that. So I put the plastic bag to the pan and it caught fire. To extinguish fire, I threw some sand. So this half-boiled, I can say that, half-boiled plastic and sand combined together to form a semi-solid mass. I cooled it, and after cooling, I got a material sample and I tried to break it. Initially using hand, then it did not break. Then using an hammer, it did not break. And then that day I used to keep it in the ground and ask my parents to move the vehicles above it and see whether it will break. But it did not break. So that was kind of a eureka moment for me. So then, thank you. Then I went to a professor. I have developed this material. I explained how I did it. And he replied that it is impossible because the kind of plastic I used is very low grade and non-recyclable. You must have mixed the rubber. I can't test the material unless you provide a detailed report about that. And he said, basically it is impossible to create the material out of plastic bags and combine it with the sand. So that was one of the disappointment on the way. And after 2 weeks, again in the media and in the newspaper everywhere, you could see that plastic waste is a problem. Garden city is turning into garbage city. And I thought, why can't I give another try? So this time I went to another professor and I explained him how I developed it and all the details. And he tested the material. So he said it's much more stronger than concrete. He guided me how to do it in a systematic way, how to do it as a scientific research. So after 1 year of continuous research and development, I developed Plascrete. Basically, plastic, non-recyclable plastic and sand reinforced composite. And also I did another variant using blast furnace slag, which was mentioned in the VT. So the Plascrete is basically 24 times stronger than concrete, 8 times lighter than concrete, and 4 times cost effective than concrete, and much more greener than concrete. So it has a wide range of applications starting from screw and nut to the construction of entire building. and it's also corrosion resistant. I'm from a coastal area where coastal erosion is a very big problem. So this plastrate can be used to construct coastal erosion prevention structures to prevent number of houses being washed away into the ocean. So that year, I was fortunate enough to represent India in the International Science and Engineering Fair 2017, and I participated in it, but I did not win anything that year. That was a very big disappointment for me. Like when you represent your country and you can't win anything, that will be a major disappointment for you. But that in that event, I got an opportunity to interact with Professor Manu Prakash. He's a bioengineering professor in Stanford University, and he works on various things developed from paper microscope, paper centrifuge, and other diagnostic devices from paper. So I was inspired. So my idea was like, I should do something out of paper. Plastic doesn't work for me. I'll shift it to paper. So then after coming back to India, I started working on a paper diagnostic tool. What disease or what can I diagnose with paper, and what kind of project I can do. So I got to know about protein energy malnutrition. So along with my friend Suhail, we developed a ultra low cost paper diagnostic tool, pre-symptomatic and non-invasive paper diagnostic tool to diagnose protein energy malnutrition in children just by reacting the saliva. So, sorry. This is the paper strip what we developed. So you react the saliva in the paper and it will change the color, and you scan it with your smartphone and it will provide the exact protein content in your blood without actually taking the blood. So that was the project, and with just 2 rupees. So we were able to reduce the cost of normal testing, that is 1,200 to just 2 rupees. That was the major achievement what we did. And that year again, we were fortunate enough to represent India in International Science and Engineering Fair 2018. So International Science and Engineering Fair is like world's largest pre-college science fair. There will be participants from 80 different nations across the world. So we were presenting this project. I would like to recall a moment over there. Like we were presenting our project and there will be stalls. So multiple stalls given for each project. So you have to present your project in a particular stall. So you are all surrounded by participants from different countries like Germany, USA, and they were all like brought the very like rockets, unmanned aerial vehicles and other big projects. So we were like worried. Okay, so we were like standing with just this paper and a laptop. So they were looking at us like what they have got, like they don't have any project. So that was the moment over there. And that year, thankfully, we won the grand award in International Science and Engineering Fair. And considering our interdisciplinary research, what we did was we combined a century-old chemical reaction, that is salivary amylase breaks down the starch iodide complex. It's a century-old chemical reaction, very well established chemical reaction with a cutting-edge artificial intelligence. So MIT Lincoln Laboratory appreciated our interdisciplinary approach to develop a ultra low-cost device which can affect the masses, and they named a minor planet after us. So that was a very big moment for us. And after the award ceremony, when we came back to the stall, so like we are packing our stuff, and this is the most memorable moment in my life. A professor from Germany came to me and said, "You Indians are really genius. You bring projects that fit in your pocket and get back award in bag." So that was one of the, thank you. That was one of the best moment in my life. So when we talk about research, innovation or development, what most of us think is research and innovation requires a lot of sophisticated instruments, lot of sophisticated research facilities, and it requires a lot of funding. So we had none of that, and I would like to change that perception, because we think that less is more. I have a philosophy that less is more. So if we were provided with like sophisticated lab and very good funding, we would have done the device, developed the product, but the cost would be like more than what we have now. So I would like to say that always like less is more and simplicity is the key. You should develop the projects or innovation as simple as possible, because generally what we see now is you develop a solution to solve one problem and that solution causes 10 other set of problems. So that should not happen. You should develop a project that is so simple and so elegant, and it should not cause any other problems. And a solution is not a solution unless it flows like water. So I'm referring to the solution for a problem, not the chemical solution. And then, yeah, another one of the main problem what we all face is discouragement. When we try to do something out of the box, or when we trying to break a barrier, there will be a lot of discouragement from a lot of people. Like if 10 people are there to support you, there will be 50 others to say, you don't have to do this, it's not possible, it's impossible, you are not doing it in a right way, you are doing it in a wrong way. There will be 50 people, 50 plus people to say that. But what I believe is, discouragement is just like compost. It will smell bad, but it's definitely important for your growth. And for me, another best moment was after I received the President's Award for the plastic recycling project. I went to the professor who said that you cannot convert non-recyclable plastic into a composite with a pack of sweets. And I said him, sir, I have won the President's Award for the project, and thank you very much for your support and guidance what you have given. That moment, it's very valuable. Like you can like, you will be like flying at that moment when you do something and achieve that succeed in that, and go to people who said it's impossible, and that is the real award you will get. And also, thank you. And also one more thing is, you may think like I succeeded or I won the award because of an accidental innovation. But what I believe is I was able to develop this because of 5 C's. One is, I was creative enough to come with an idea to convert plastic waste to bricks, or a simple idea, not a brilliant idea, a simple idea. Then I was crazy enough to start experimenting without any knowledge. I had zero knowledge about plastic. If I had researched about it, like which kind of plastic, and you see that it's non-recyclable, and while you research, then you will think, okay, this is non-recyclable, I can't do this. So without any prior knowledge, I started experimenting. Then I was curious what will happen to the plastic bag if I heat it, and what will be the reaction. And I was conscious to observe the reaction with sand, how the material plastic combined with the sand to produce a composite. And I used my common sense in a lot of ways to make this project happen. So what I like to say is, these 5 C's are the very important qualities or skills we all must develop. And I guess most of us are engineers over here. So like, to become an engineer or to do something new, these 5 C's are like, what I believe is, these 5 C's are very important to achieve or to do any project or do any innovation. And also, I believe in 3 I's: innovate, implement, and inspire. If you do some innovation and don't implement it, it's useless. And if you implement it and don't inspire others to do the same kind of innovation, it's worthless. So that's what happening in the most of the times. Most of the students are like, they come up with the brilliant ideas, they do the research, they develop the solution, but they don't implement it. That implementation part is very important. And also, we should inspire others to do the same kind of research or innovation. And like in the previous days, like in the recent days, there has been a trend in Instagram, like in search of, I guess you may all observed it, in search of gold, we lost a diamond. What I would like to say is, in search of marks, don't lose your passion, don't lose your talent. You should work on that. You should start working on your passion. And I'm very sure that in the next 3 days, in today and tomorrow, you'll hear a lot from all the personalities, eminent personalities here. And I'd like to request you, all of you, to think about your plans, like how can you implement their values in your life in the after the session. And also I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone because of whom I am standing in this stage: my parents, my teachers, my school, and my college. So thank you everyone. Thank you. I'm open for any questions.
Sir, thank you first of all for making time of your busy schedule and gracing your presence amongst us. Your talk today has kept us going, moving, and finding the subtle aspect of transforming societies and social innovations. Sir, your articulations of plastic menace, the opportunities in going green, and your foresightedness in standing firm to your ideas, I'm sure has impacted each one of us here today in leaps and bounds. I thank you again.
Thank
I
you.
now request Principal